Why is she
You
not
weren't
here?
here?
Just me.
He was going to.
What happened?
I don't remember.
This is Al Stewart, this is Peter White. So now, why weren't you here?
I must have been sleeping.
Now, these guys have been working together for 14 years. Would you call it work?
Oh, yes, I think it's very, very hard work indeed. Yeah.
I've already been warned that I'm not going to be able to talk much here.
We're letting you
gonna-
talk. So far, I haven't interrupted you more than 3 times.
Well, let's stop talking. Why don't you play a song that's going to bring back memories to everybody?
Okay, why don't we do that?
This is from the Year of the Cat. Is that the song?
Yeah. Fishing boats go out across the evening water, smuggling guns and arms across the Spanish border. The wind whips up the waves so loud, the ghost moon sails among the clouds, turns the rifles into silver on the border. On my wall, the colors of the maps are running. From Africa, the winds that talk of change is coming. Torches flare up in the night. The hand that sets the palms alight has spread the word to those who are waiting on the border. In the village where I grew up, nothing seems the same. You never see the change from day to day. No one notices the customs slip away. Late last night the rain was knocking on my window. I moved across the darkened room and in the lamp glow, thought I saw down in the street the spirit of the century telling us we're all standing on the border. In the islands where I grew up, nothing seems the same. The pattern just remains an empty shell. There's a strangeness in the air you feel too well. The evening water, smuggling guns and arms across the Spanish border. The wind whips up the waves so loud, the ghost moon sails among the clouds, turns the rifles into silver on the border. On the border. On the border. On the border.
It sounds so amazing with just 2 guitars. It's wonderful.
Amazing, isn't it? Amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, we do have a full band. I mean, when we play, we're playing tonight in Montreal. Montreal? No, Toronto. Where am I?
Toronto tonight and
I'm
tomorrow
sorry,
Montreal.
I was in Pittsburgh until an hour ago, so I don't know where I am. And we have like a 5-piece band, so...
You don't even need it. That sounds quite amazing.
Oh, I don't. They'd all be out of work if we didn't employ them.
Band.
Yeah, we should fire
That's
them.
fine
That's
with me.
When I was listening to your album and thinking about the words that you sing about, immediately history springs to mind, and then I was going to talk about history too, and then I read an article, and they're already
Beware when
talking
you do.
about it. You know, that's the big thing. But I was curious, you are obviously very well read, and next year is the year of literacy. Did you know that?
My God,
International Year of Literacy.
You mean people are going to be well-read next year?
Well, I don't think so, but it is.
You know, I wasted the last 25 years reading books, and next year they're all going to catch up with me. This is terrible.
That's the idea. What would you recommend? What books, and you as well, what books have you read that
Well, he's
are
going to change
particularly-
guitars, so I'll tell you while he's doing that.
Okay. Are particularly inspiring to you?
The best novel I've read of the 20th century is probably a little controversial, but I would say probably The First Circle by Solzhenitsyn. If you want light entertainment, I could recommend Evil and War. Very much. I'm reading right at the moment Decline and Fall, having just finished A Handful of Dust. If you want pure imagination, Mervyn Peake is very hard to beat.
Now those two are both British, very dry British.
Well, if you want a Canadian, how about Robertson Davies? I mean, there's a very fine Canadian author. You could do a lot worse than read his works. If you're interested in history, try Gwyn Dyer, another Canadian authority.
Who's that?
Gwyn Dyer. He's a Canadian military historian. There are any number of great Canadian authors if you want to get me started on that.
I know, it's
but,
true.
Yeah, I like them. I like the French existentialists as well. Or at least I did. I don't read them very much now. I never really got into Germans.
Well, am I supposed to talk now? Is this the break that you're giving me to cut in? We figured about there's a certain balance of talking. Is it my turn?
Well, usually when I place a full stop, it's your turn, but there were 4 dots after my last comment, you know. So you can spring into that gap, I think, you know.
When you...
Ask him something. He's got the guitar now.
Okay, no, I'm going to continue on this thought, then.
Okay.
When you write your songs, do you consider yourself first a lyricist? Is that the most important thing?
Oh, for me, I can't listen to, if a song is badly written, I switch it off, you know, which means I can't listen to any dance music. It all passes me by, you know. Obviously, the people I like most are the Waterboys, Michelle Shark, Elvis Costello is brilliant. Leonard Cohen is even more brilliant. This kind of stuff I listen to. Songs that have less than 15 words in worry me, especially if they're the same words, you know.
Now, what you're saying and what you sing about, I think, would hopefully educate people. Do you see yourself?
I mean, the last song, for example, what do you think that was about? Let's see how I'm going to put you on the spot.
I know, you know, I was scared you're going to do that because I was a Spanish border. I don't know anything about history, but that's what came to mind.
Take a flying guess. What do you think it was about?
A war.
In after fashion, you're right, actually, an insurrection. It was about the Basque separatist movement. Now, what do you know about them?
Nothing.
Tell me.
Nothing.
ETA, and you know nothing about it. Incredible. Okay, well,
but I'm admitting it, and I'm willing to learn.
Well, the Basques actually operate over both sides of the border, but they're in France and they're in Spain. In the same way that the Kurds are spread over 3 different borders. And Tamils. I mean, one could go on. You know, but there are people who don't have their own country and are spread over borders of different countries, and they're without nationality. For a long time, this applied to the Israelis until they grabbed the Palestinians' particular chunk of land.
Stop it now. When you write a song like that, I have the opportunity. I'm very lucky to sit here and talk to you, and for you to explain to me and people who are catching this interview to learn about the song. But do you think that people actually take the time to really sit down and to try and understand? Okay, now what exactly is he talking about here?
I think we're fortunate in the sense that we appeal to a very select and very small audience.
Is that good?
If we well, it's not good for money. I mean, we just about make it. You know, I just about paid the mortgage every week. I mean, I'd like to be John Bon Jovi, but at the same time, I'm not sure that 7 million people would want to know about the Basque separatist movement. So
but can't you mix the two? I mean, that would be your job as well. Can't you mix?
We try. I mean, God knows I try and be commercial.
That's what we tried on the last record. We tried, musically to be more commercial.
It's hard to hold it under about 100 words, and the average attention span of a pop listener is about 25 tops, you know.
Really?
So it is true. It's absolutely true.
Words actually, you feel, are bad for a pop song?
They're bad unless they're repeated. The essence of rock and roll and all popular music since I was a kid has been repetition. If you don't believe it, just listen to anything you play. It is a chorus, repeated.
On the border,
Sly and the
border.
Family Stone did I Want to Take You Higher. They mentioned it 37 times, I think, in the song. If I had written this song, I would have written I Want to Take You Higher, open brackets, 37 times, close brackets, you know. That would have been... well, the French have a word for it, beast, you know, like sort of with to the power of 37. But
it's changing now because people like, as you mentioned, Michelle Schacht or Tracy Chapman is a great example of someone who really uses words.
We hope. I mean, I see things. I mean, if Elvis Costello were at #1, I'd be happier than Tracy Chapman. But you know, it's a step in the right direction.
Why? What's the difference? What do you prefer in Elvis Costello as opposed to Tracy Chapman?
Well, he's a much more mature writer. I mean. Tracy Chapman has the image, but she doesn't yet have the substance. That's going to be controversial.
No, well, she's also much younger. I mean, Elvis Costello has put out, 9 albums so far, and he's really learned. I mean, you look at his first album, and again, it was much...
I tell you who's better still is Sinead O'Connor. If she doesn't implode, I think she will do very well indeed. I love the fact that she's so iconoclastic.
She's a troublemaker is what she is, and she loves it.
That's basically what that word means.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying for people who don't understand the word. Yeah.
Why don't you talk to him?
So what's this guy really like?
I'm not as interesting as him, really.
or as irreverent, perhaps. You know.
When you write songs together, you
Very
take care
often
of...
I will come up with a musical idea.
And then you don't
and
talk?
He'll say, well, I don't like that. Have you got anything else? So then I play him something else. And they say, oh, no, well, maybe, what did you say, red toupee? And I said, no. And he'll write a whole song about red toupee, and he just came out of nowhere. You know, and
I misoverheard him. I thought he went red toupee. I actually said day to day.
Oh, this is a true story.
Yeah, we had a song on the new album. There was a plane flying overhead, and I thought he said red toupee. So I wrote this whole thing about a red toupee, and it was like, it was extraordinary. I mean, why am I writing about hair pieces? You know, it's very, very strange.
It took about 5 minutes to record and write.
Yeah, it did. We're sometimes quick. Some of them take 4 years. There was one song that took me 4 years. I read, I think, between 40 and 50 books to write one song. I mean, the research I did was so ludicrous. No, it's true. Between 69 and 70, with Roads to Moscow. I had to place every single character in their right historical perspective.
Now, you know, right before we went on camera, I was talking to you about religion, or you were talking about religion, and he's not Cat Stevens, by the way.
Someone mistook me for Cat Stevens. I hate it. I hate it.
But I brought up a book, The Source by James Michener, and you said, oh, I really like him, and
he's a good writer.
And the reason why I went, oh, I'm not going to say anything, and I said, I'll say it to you on the air, was because I almost
getting daring now.
See your songs like him, because he does a lot of research.
Yes, he does.
Every book. You believe.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. They're that thick.
Well, so you should. I mean, the man researches like mad. Yeah, Michener's very good.
And I'm interested to hear that you also do as much. Comparable for the amount of words you're going to be putting out.
Well, there was one I did on Jackie Fisher, who invented the modern British Navy, and I went back and I got the 1929 edition of his life because I didn't want a modern viewpoint of him. I wanted a contemporary viewpoint. And the book described Winston Churchill as a young upstart. And I mean, it's just fantastic to me to read, you know, what the contemporaries of these people thought. And so that ended up as a song called Old Admirals, which is actually my favorite song, I think, you know.
Ever?
That I've written, yeah.
That you've written.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite song that you guys have worked on?
I like Lord Grenville.
Apart from Twist and Shout.
Really, from all the way back there?
There's a lot of obscure songs. I like Delia's Gone from the live album.
Yeah, so do I, come to that. We got some very obscure songs. We got some that only we know about.
Our favourite songs are ones that we hardly ever play.
Our favourite songs are the ones we never even recorded, actually.
Why don't you play one of those now?
Well, I would, but it's obscene. I have this whole. I have this whole. I have no understanding of country and western music, right?
Okay.
I mean, to me, this is very. No, I'm not going to do it. We're on national television. We can't do it.
I have a job to keep. Thank you very much.
I read this song called "Remove Your Footwear," right? And essentially what this song is, you can take your expletive-deleted shoes out of my closet. I've had enough of you, and that just does it. You're an expletive-deleted drag, and I've seen it. When I told you I loved you, I didn't mean it. And it was like, and it goes on and on like this, and it's all about trains coming down and squashing kids, and like, oh, it's absolutely wonderful.
So what song are you going to sing now?
I'm not going to sing that one for a start. The Canadian government will expel me. I will never come back again. Mr. Mulroney says go that way. What shall I sing for you? Well, I'll sing a song called Antarctica.
And it's from the latest album?
Yeah, this is about a very chilly woman. You might think it's about the Antarctic explorations prior to World War I, and it does mention them, but it isn't about them. It is a metaphor. Metaphor, good word, isn't it?
I like that.
Metaphorical. Polysyllabic, Stewart strikes again. Let's do it again.
Long before I ever saw the frost upon your face, I was haunted by this beauty. You drew me to this place. I felt the chill of mystery with one foot on your shore. Then and there, resolved to go where no man had before. Maybe I was snowblind, or perhaps the winds spoke true. I believed in stories then, as travelers sometimes do, in Antarctica. Antarctica. This is my favorite verse. Who knows what the powers may be to cause a man to go mindless of the dangers out across the virgin snow. Seduced by this ambition, I so easily forgot the hopeless quest of Shackleton, the dreamlike death of Scott. Maybe I was snowblind, or perhaps your voice was true. I believed in stories then, as travelers sometimes do. In Antarctica, Antarctica. Perhaps it sat my will, but something of my innocence goes wandering there still. In Antarctica, 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 Antarctica.
I just want to get a bit of CanCon in the show.
CanCon?
Which is Canadian content. You told me a story that I thought was priceless about Bruce Cockburn.
Oh,
and I think everybody should know because he's a favorite around here.
I guess he is. I haven't seen Bruce in about 15 years, but it was the first time I came to Canada and I wanted to just like play a bit of acoustic guitar in a club and try and do a guest spot. In those days, they had guest spots in folk clubs. And there was this guy who just released his first album. And I had no idea who it was, but he sang and sang and sang. And I thought he was, just a good guitar player, playing some nice fingerstyle stuff. And I got up and I did my 3 songs, and so we got chatting to each other, and we went off and we had something to eat afterwards. And I said, well, yeah, if you ever want to come to England, I think you do quite well in England. You can stay at my house. So, I don't know, about a year later, he turns up and stays at my house, and I drag him out to this folk club in the middle of, in the middle of nowhere, on the outskirts of London, and he gets up and he goes down a storm. And I said, this is real good. You should do this for a living. I mean, it's like, I think you'd go down well in England. And he says, well, I got some gigs back in Canada. This, of course, was Bruce Cockburn. And I gather that he's done rather well for himself since then.
Very well. He's put out, I don't know, I think 18 albums.
I met Leonard Cohen that same day. What a day, what a day. I met him going into a gentleman's toilet at Montreal Airport, I think. This guy came in, he was carrying a guitar case, looked like Leonard Cohen. So I just hovered, and I thought, because he was my big hero. And he came out of the bathroom, and I said, you're Leonard Cohen? And he said, yeah. And I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm waiting for Suzanne. And
I
that's true. I don't make these things up. And I was so floored by that answer that I had nothing else to say. On another occasion, because I'm taking up your whole program, I'll tell you all about how I met the Beatles, and that's the real.
Oh no, I want to know now.
That's
no,
the good
come on,
story.
you have to. You have to.
Very quickly, what the Beatles said to me, all 4 of them, right? George Harrison said, "I'm sorry, I think I broke your pencil." Okay.
You remember these? Yeah?
I wouldn't you? Forever and ever. I was a kid. I mean, this is Paul McCartney said no. I asked him if he needed an acoustic guitar player in the band. Ringo Starr had the best line of all. He pointed. There was this door at the hotel. We'd crashed a press conference. We were pretending to be writers for a paper, and he pointed to the door and he said, "I think your mates went that way."
Hint, hint.
And John Lennon talked to me for 5 minutes. He was the nicest of all the Beatles, and he let me hold his guitar, which I nearly dropped from fright. I was 17 years old, and he just, went, chatted on and on about Vox amplifiers and guitars, and that was it. It was great. I met all the Beatles. Another time, I'll tell you how I met the Rolling Stones. We've got to get off the air.
I thank you both for dropping by. It was really a nice Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, we're playing tonight, folks.
At the Diamond Club tonight.
Diamond Club.
And full band.
I believe that there are still a few people left in Canada who haven't bought our new record. You might want to...
do you want to tell them particular highlights about
chastise them about that? You know, it's like... the only reason I've come back is because I do believe that some of you, I won't mention names, I do have a list of your names, have not bought my new record.
Everybody who's been naughty and nice.
The last days of the century. My advice to you is to buy it very, very soon. Otherwise, I may have to come back and reprimand you and talk
But
further.
you have to get an encyclopedia and perhaps look at the encyclopedia while listening to the songs and fully understand them.
Oh, no, I don't think so. And anyway, it's only a Mr. and Mrs. Thompson who live on the outskirts of London, Ontario, who haven't bought it. I can go around there and explain it to them.
Okay, so, and also tomorrow night they're going to be in Montreal at the Spectrum Musique Memorial, and that's it. Let's play your video.
Let's
More
do that.
music.
Why not?
Al Stewart.
Thank
How
you.
much music? Thank you.
And Peter White.
Oh, no, this song.